All right, what is up? We are checking out per request by another YouTuber here. I can't really pronounce his. It's kind of like a symbol, but he recommended that I try out the Dalai, a web UI for Llama.C++ that's using Node.js. I'll show the install process, and so far we're still going. And my prompt was, "What is good with life and death?" That's what I prompted with. What is good with life and death? You know, what's good with that? I don't even know, dude. But here's what it came back with. In Hindu, what is good with life and death? And then it continued. In Hinduism, the concept of reincarnation or rebirth exists within all schools of the Dharmic religions as well as the non-Dharma faith trad. In India, Hindus have always believe there's already a typo here. There are three realms which a human can take birth. First is heaven, Svarg, where one lead happy with his wife and family in the company of God. Ooh, lowercase g, man, you know. After death, second is earth. Ah, man, we're missing some commas here. Or physical world from where he came earlier through rebirth process to thirdly hell. This is terrible, but it does run. So but you can see that this is a 65B and these outputs are, this is complete garbage. There's too many grammatical errors. I haven't seen that grammatical errors of that extent. The temperature, look, I'm not really sure what's going on here, but this is terrible. Anyway, let's just show the install. Show you that it is installable and it does get going. I did say I'd do the install. I said I was going to try some prompts, but I figured I'll just get this out here in case other people are interested, so that you can use the web UI instead of messing around in the terminal, which is, kind of ugly, I guess. I don't know. And you can easily change the parameters here. So let's run Dalai. It's not looking too good though. I wouldn't recommend it. But the web UI does work and it does generate text. So if you want to play around with something, maybe it's at fault. The Llama.C++, I wasn't getting outputs this bad running it without the web UI though. So I'm not sure why they're coming out so bad actually. That doesn't make any sense because all this is doing is, anyway, it's pretty easy. Here's the quick start, and there should be a Linux quick start here, but either way, you don't have to install Node.js. What you're going to want to do is start with installing Conda. So get you Conda, get you set up. I have a video on installing Conda. Conda is going to make this so much easier, and it's going to allow you to remove an environment when inevitably Node.js gets corrupted and the packages have conflicts and all that nonsense. So start by getting Anaconda. Okay, so there's a few prerequisites before even getting started with this. First things first, you need Anaconda. So go to anaconda.org, go to download Anaconda. I have a video on it. Download Anaconda first. We're going to create an environment inside Anaconda. Next, you need to have Llama.C++ installed. You can use this to install it, but why? Why would you do that? There's really no reason. So, I mean, I guess you could if you want to. Then now you're just having more stuff to get done with this one command, and it's not going to change anything. So I would recommend installing Llama.Cpp. I have a video on doing that, so install that. This is very easy to install. Next, you want to have the models. So you want to make sure that you have all the models that you want to use. The 65B, the 35B, the 13B, and the 7B. I would then quantize them with the llama.cpp quantization. You have to use this one and then place those. We'll place them later. You can download the weights through this if you want to, and I guess you could do that as well. So you can do this and just pick the ones that you want. Maybe just the 65B. I'm not sure why you'd run anything lower than that unless you're trying to run this on a phone, which you can do. So we'll get into that. But you need Anaconda and you need llama.cpp. Llama.cpp is kind of optional, but you definitely need Anaconda. So let's get started. Okay, so you need a lot of space to store these. All right, and right now I'm really running out of space. I'm gonna need to buy another. I'm gonna just buy the 10 terabyte hard drive. I'm gonna have to. I'm just gonna do it. I don't want to do it, but it's got to be done. So full model takes 31. Smallest full model 31 gigabytes. Quantized 4 gigabytes. And you do need the full model, and you put the quantized model inside the full model. It's just how you do it. 65B, I mean, this is just pitiful. 432 gigabytes plus 40. We're getting hefty. We're getting hefty. So you need some space. Make sure you got it. Okay, so there's install instructions here. Mac, Unix system, pretty much the same as the Linux setup. Windows it's Visual Studio that's going to slow you down. And that might have been the error you're seeing. Your C and C++ compiler comes from Visual Studio. So you're not going to be able to run any C or C++ code without Visual. I mean, you can. There are other ways to compile C code, but Visual Studio is going to be the most packaged way to do it, and Visual Studio is not Visual Studio Code, so just be aware of that. And the install is not that hard, it just takes forever. It takes forever, and you have to specify some. Here it shows Python development, Node.js development, desktop development. You have to get these when you're installing, and sometimes they don't show this, so you have to go to you'll have to look it up, and it's not going to be that crazy. But if you don't see these, there's another location where you can install these development kits, I think they're called, or something, and just go on from there. It's not that bad. Okay, and all this can be skipped by using Anaconda, not the VS Code, but all this trouble with installing Node.js, which is sometimes a nightmare. To get Node.js running, to get Node running, especially get it running in your terminal, that all is avoided if you use Anaconda. So just use Anaconda. It's your friend. It's gonna make all this easy. All right. So first things first, we want to create a Node environment. Conda create -n, I'll call it Dalai, and then type in Node.js. That is going to do all of the nonsense of handling Node just like that. So this is going to make your life a lot easier, and you'll see it's even installing the compilers, the GCC for us, Node.js entirely, OpenSSL, everything we need. So go ahead and hit yes to proceed, go through the install, activate the environment. Look how quick that was. Okay, look how quick that was. Tell me how long it takes you to install Node without Anaconda. Okay, it's a 20-minute, 30-minute process. It's a nightmare. All right, so we've activated the environment now, and this is it. We're done here. So we're just going to, and I guarantee you this was the entire issue. It was this, and probably you didn't set up Visual Studio correctly. That's my guess. Nothing else really to go wrong here. So we're going to npm install Dalai. There we go, and there we go. And then we should be good. We should be good here. We should be able to then run npx Dalai serve, and okay, so now we're running. Here we are, and we have the model here. I only have the 65B, but let's see what happens. I'm gonna type in, hey there, lil mama, and I think this is a great prompt because it is a question, and we want to see if it completes to no to respond to a female, and we want to see how it responds to the female, if it's going to be formal, or previously it did an interview, seen before it'll do a song, poem. Let's see how it handles it. But yeah, it's not going to run because this doesn't exist. So we want to go in the code. It's time to code, folks. So I have a go in here. We go to node modules, I believe. And this, I just had it installed in my home environment. But if you're in a folder, it's going to put the node modules there. Actually, maybe not. But then we go to Dalai, should be in bin, web, views, and it's this index file right here. So we're going to go ahead and just click this. I'm not sure if it's gonna, okay, so we're just gonna open this in the terminal, and we'll go ahead and open this in VS Code. Yeah, I use VS Code, I'm a loser, I understand. And then we're gonna scroll down here to where and you can see here that the query that was sent specifies the model as 7B. That's just the default. Supposedly that when there's only, that the model only changes if you change the model, but if you only have one model, it never gets the chance to change, so it stays on the 7B, which is the default. Doesn't really matter. But you can see all the information here in the terminal. That's kind of cool. Open up the code to where the query is sent, and here it is. So we're going to go ahead and change this to 65B. We're going to hit save, and I'm not sure if refreshing is going to help us here. And we'll go back with, hey there, lil mama, and there we go. And now we're running. And that's it. We're done. So I'm pretty sure that's going to solve your problems if you had any. These prompts do take a while to install, and we can see in here we're up to 30 gigabytes. It's probably going to go up to 40. We started with around 6 to 8. I'm not exactly sure. And obviously this is too small for you guys to read. Unfortunately, this is about as big as we're going to get it here. The commands, I mentioned them. And the main thing is the file here. I'll put the path in the comments, but we're done. And you can see how slow this comes out. It's not really that slow. It looks slower than it is because it's actually posting token by token. Using the web UI, the text gen web UI, not using the CPP, it doesn't show that. And it takes about, sometimes I've seen prompts take up to, 30, 45 seconds. So this is maybe twice as slow. It's not as bad as it looks, but it's still, it's not great in the prompt outputs. I'll come back after we're done and we'll see how good this is. All right, so one thing of note, we were at about 9 gigabytes to start. The web UI without the CPP implementation, the one just using the GPTQ 4-bit quantization, I noticed that when nothing is generated, the VRAM stays high. I guess because the model weights get put on the GPU. But here, since it's all on the CPU, everything clears up after each generation. So we're not wasting space in between prompts. So we can do other things. It's nice. It's nice. I didn't want to believe that running on the CPU was going to be fine, but really, and I mentioned in one of the comments that I think with these large language models, the advantage of parallelization is kind of diminished, but perhaps not. I'll have to look in that some more. I'll also have to look into exactly how the quantization is done here. But let's check this output, and I'm going to call it a day, post this video, and hopefully this helps you. So it's supposed to predict 1,000 tokens. Didn't look like we got there. Stopped short. Maybe these ellipses, this ellipse and a half, took up a bunch. Maybe all these spaces count. I'm not sure, but hey there, little mama. You seem so much like me and my best friend from high school. It is unreal. Space, period, space. We are now in our late 50s. Space, comma. But you bring back the mem of how close we were then. That almost rhymes. By Brennan Mulaney. That almost rhymes. You bring back the mem of how close we were then. I like the way that sounds. That almost rhymes. So this is an author. Okay. Check him out real quick. Okay. Damn, we can't look inside. Jeez. Alright. This wasn't too related. I'm gonna say that this wasn't the best generation. It didn't address the Lil Mama in any meaningful way other than the from high school. Maybe it could interpret that as this being a juvenile. Hey there, little mama is a juvenile phrase, perhaps. Maybe not. And maybe hey there, little mama is a phrase you'd use to somebody you're close with, you're hoping to have some sort of intimacy with, perhaps. So not bad, but I would have liked to see a little more it address this phrase a little more. And I think that's why this is such a great prompt, because there's a lot to address here. Is it going to continue in the way that it did and relate to the fact that this might be a pickup line of some sort? Is it gonna, how is it gonna handle the little mama? How does it recognize that, And the hey there, is it gonna pick up that this is an introduction? It's a dialogue of sorts, how is it gonna handle it? And I'd say this is okay. It seems to be a quote, hopefully a fake quote, from this one book author. I'm not seeing any direct hits, but it does work. And you saw the output in the beginning. This is a little bit better. There's still some grammatical errors. This is possibly another one, but it kind of rhymes, so I'll let it slide. Bring back the mem of how close we were then. Sounds good, but that might be a typo. Anyway, here's the prompts. Hope you enjoyed the video. This was a direct response to one of the comments, so make sure you at least give it some love. And you want to see anything else, obviously I'll do it. This wasn't too bad. I will do a better prompting thing here, and I have some other prompts like this one that I think are very good to just quickly test how interpretive the model is, how good of a contextual analyzer I don't know, but there's a couple that we'll try, and obviously play around with the parameters at some point. That might be a weekend thing. I think the next couple days I gotta should be doing a little more studying. Hopefully I can get some sleep tonight. But anyway, appreciate you guys a lot. Comments, people have been commenting a lot. I'm gonna get to all those comments. Just hope you guys have a great day. Be easy, y'all. Peace.